Hello, thank you for watching this YouTube video. I'm going to be going over basically the prices of items and how I price my items. A couple of people have asked me to make a video sort of like this, so I figure maybe I should go over it. It might be helpful for some. Um, Whenever I look at an item, I try to give it a good value based off of um, what stats are on it, and each stat I'll assign a value to it. Um, but if the item only has one of those stats, that item's not really going to be worthwhile. So if this item only had the 56 life, it's not worth anything. But if it has 56 life and then the 34 cold resist, might be like worth an alk, but it'll be hard to find somebody to even pay that for that. So then you almost need a little extra something in order to actually make it worth your while. Because a lot of times people really don't care about an item that's going to only be worth 1 chaos anyways. They're looking for an item that they'll be using for more than like a couple hours. So, with this item, it's not the best items. And if you would have found this in the start of the league, it would have been pretty good. You probably could have got like 3 to 4 chaos out of it. The reason being is it has like two mediocre rolls, and then decent armor for boots, and then 34 cold resist. You could have probably got 3 to 4 chaos, but since it's kind of later in the league, there's a lot better stuff out there. It's gonna be hard to you probably could get like 1 to 2 chaos at this time. So it's kind of hard, but I mean, you know, and that's how I would like do the boots. And the boots, what you're trying to look for good boots is you want movement speed, you want health, you want resist. Usually you want 2 resists, and that's when you can start selling them for more and more. And usually I value each stat at about a chaos, unless it has like all the stats. If it has all the stats, if they're kind of low to mid rolls, I'll probably assign a little bit more chaos to it. So like, for instance, since I only value this at like 2 chaos right now, if it had another resist, and then instead of like the block stun recovery, it had like move speed, I probably would value it at like 5 to 6 chaos at that point. The reason being is because the life roll is still low, and the strength is always it's like a fluff stat. It's a stat that when you see it, it's nice, but you want other stats with it. By itself, it doesn't really mean much. So yeah, that's how I'd like go about pricing boots. They're kind of a harder item to price, in my opinion. ES pieces, the biggest thing you're looking for, especially on helmets, on shields, on chest pieces. All 3 of those pieces, those are going to be your key energy shield pieces. Gloves and boots, you can get okay ES on those, but you can get crazy ES on all 3 of those pieces: the chest piece, the shield, and the helmet. What you're looking for is a percentage energy shield roll, and then a flat energy shield roll, and then you want a couple resists, maybe a fluff stat like int or mana. Int by itself isn't going to be great, but int with a combination of other stats would be great. This item, I almost don't even know why I'm keeping it, because it doesn't even have any resists on it. The only thing that's nice about it is it has an okay amount of energy shield, and it has some mana, so it has like 1 decent combination and then mana. So maybe even just like 1 alk for this item, and I don't know if I would find anyone to even pay that. But I was just showing you because it has that double roll. Maybe this would be like a better example. These 2 I'm trying to sell on my forum posts, and both of them are not super great either, but they're a little better than this helmet. Um, but like finding this much armor and then that much energy shield on a piece is actually kind of interesting to see. Um, for both, and they both don't have health, so it could be a good starter uh, energy shield piece for people who are just like they need something to use until they can get something better. Basically, once they switch to energy shield, and the other problem is they're not linked at all. So yeah, at most I'll probably be getting like 3 to 4. Maybe I have them priced at 6 chaos. If they don't sell, I'm gonna probably bring them down to 3 to 4. If somebody whispered me and said I'll give you 3 to 4 for these, I'd probably sell them at that. Because the only thing they really have going for them is they have a percentage roll, and then they have a flat energy shield roll, and then this one has mana and cold resist and ant on top of that. So all three of those stats together, with the flat ES and the percentage ES, I'd probably only value the flat and the percentage at like 2 to 3 chaos, and the other stats are kind of low stats. They don't really have a lot going for them. So I'd probably value those at like 2 to 3 chaos. So it's like I don't know if I could even find somebody to pay that either. So it's probably gonna be like 3 chaos, 3 to 4 chaos for both of them. Same thing with this one. This one has life on it. This has cold resist. So if somebody was going hybrid, or if they were going like Eldritch Battery, this one would be a lot better for them. This one I was asking for more than the other one because it actually does have other things that are a little more decent. 52 life, not the best life. 26 cold resist, at least it's better than the other cold resist. This one, if I sat on it a little while, I could maybe get 5 to 6 chaos, but still, the problem is chess pieces. People are always looking for chess pieces that are already linked, and they'll try to roll them themselves. Because a big way of getting your damage output is just from your support gems. So if somebody has a 5 link that you can buy from them, you can usually buy 5 links for relatively cheap, and then roll it yourself. And it might take you a little while to get something really good, and it might be expensive, but it's not ever gonna be as expensive as trying to 5 or 6 link something yourself. 5 to 6 linking something yourself is just something that's gonna be super expensive, and I probably wouldn't recommend doing it. As we go through, so yeah, that's how I'm trying to like show you how I do it based off of like the stats on the item. This chest piece, the only thing it really has going for it is a high evasion. I already have it on the forum post for I think about 2 chaos. Has a mediocre life roll and no resist. So it's like I don't even know if I can even find somebody to buy that at that price. And that's why I don't really like chess pieces, because chess pieces normally are really hard to sell because people are looking for 5 links. Helmets, depending on the helmets, and depending on the person who's playing, like if you're a spellcaster, you don't really care about some of the stats that show up on a helmet. Like you don't care about accuracy, but if you care about accuracy, a helmet's a good place to get some of that accuracy. Like my helmet has 231 accuracy, and helmets can also have stats and other things on them. So, but if you're going a spellcaster, you're gonna care way more about getting either an energy shield helmet with a ton of energy shield, or just if you're going health, you want a ton of armor and health. So you're not really gonna care as much about other stats on your helmet. So yeah, if you are going like a melee build or a build that cares about accuracy, the accuracy rating could be worth something for people. You're looking for at least 2 resists. You're looking for health. If it's an energy shield piece, you're looking for flat energy shield and percentage energy shield. And then there's sometimes you get the +2 to minion gems in this item. Some people are looking for helmets like that, so it's kind of a niche market as far as the +2 to minion gems in this item. So I'll keep one or two minion helms on me just in case somebody ever wants one, because you can at least get about 2 to 3 chaos out of it, especially if it has other stats that might be worthwhile to them. So this one has rarity, cold resist, life, and 2 to minion skills. I think I'm trying to get 3 chaos for this one, and same for this one. It has 2 resist, has accuracy, 2 to minion skills. This one I think I'm only trying to get 2 because, again, when you have resist, you also want life with it. If you just see resist, it kind of makes the price go down. So it's just something to think about. Weapons. Weapons, the big thing. Like, okay, I'll do daggers separately because those are so different. What you're looking for on a weapon is you want to find a weapon that has a percentage roll and a flat physical roll, or you want to find a weapon that has crazy elemental rolls with some other damage on it. And then, like, for two-handers, typically I try not to keep them unless they have over like 350 DPS, and even then I've been actually going up with that. I usually have been only keeping weapons that have over 400 DPS if they're a two-hander. So yeah, and the reason being is because a lot of times you can get by the less the uniques that are they're not expensive, and they could be better than these items. So I might even have to just vendor a couple of them. Basically some of this stuff is just old stuff from before I did some of this stuff. The reason why daggers are a little harder is because they are kind of a mix of everything. They can have spell damage on them. They can have attack speed, they can have cast speed, they can have spell crit, they can just have crazy amounts of different things on them. So it's a little harder to price them. And the thing is really you can roll a lot of different daggers, and they can be good for multiple different builds. Like, there's a flat physical build where you go flat physical with daggers, with crit. And so really what you're looking for on daggers is the crit strike chance. You want the crit strike chance to be high, and then you want either a combination of attack speed. If it's a spell dagger, you don't care as much about the crit chance, but for like cast on crit builds, you want crit chance. For physical builds, you want crit chance. For elemental builds, you want crit chance. So like getting crit chance on the dagger is actually really good. And then after that, you want like either elemental damage, or you want a percentage physical and then a flat physical. Like this one has pretty big percentage physical, really bad small physical, and then attack speed and stuff. So it's an okay physical dagger. The problem is it has no crit strike chance. And like I want to show you an example of like a cast on crit dagger too, which I don't think I have one on this page. But then like a spell dagger, this would be an example of a spell dagger. It has a lot of spell damage. It has crit strike multiplier, which is really good. If you're going daggers, you're probably going a crit build. Same for this. Like, this is a decent crit dagger. It'd probably be more for a totem build. Totem builds rely more off of crit damage and crit chance rather than trying to scale their totems off spell damage. So this would be a decent totem dagger. These two are just kind of hybrid daggers. They're really awkward. Like, this one would be a decent cast on crit dagger. The only problem with it is it doesn't have attack speed. So yeah, and I really like daggers, so that's why I talk about daggers. They're kind of one of the harder ones to price. This dagger, though, is probably a little better of a cast on crit dagger. The reason being is you can use elemental equilibrium with this, and then it has kind of a okay crit strike chance, but then on top of it, it has the spell damage too. So this dagger has a lot more going for it for a cast on crit build. So I mean, yeah, and that's for daggers. Uniques, a lot of times you're just gonna have to look them up. you can't really judge a unique by its stats. You have to just look it up and see if it's worth anything. A lot of times, a unique will only be worth 1 to 2 chaos, but there's special occasions where you'll find a unique that's actually used in quite a bit of things, and those uniques are usually the ones that are worth more. So there's that, and like even high level uniques like this unique, it's not really used on a whole lot, but it's still only worth 1 chaos. So yeah, it's just something to keep in mind. That's why you have to look it up. So if you don't really know the price of a unique, just go to POEXYZ and just search for it and look it up. Neck pieces and rings and stuff like that. You kind of just have you don't have to be as picky with these because people are looking for all kinds of crap on their rings and their amulets, and you can always roll something that somebody finds attractive on it. So that's why I'll even like keep rings and amulets that aren't like super great, but once in a while you'll just find that one person that they'll look at this item and be like, well, it has everything I kind of want for my build, and it's not a lot of all of it, but at least it's something that I want. So they'll actually take, like, somebody who would want cast speed and lightning resist and maybe a little bit of strength for the build would probably grab this, and the level requirement too is what they'd look at too, and they would maybe use this as like a leveling neck piece. So that's why I'd only price this at 1 chaos, but I'll probably end up selling it at 1 chaos eventually. But then, like, if you want to find like a really good piece, sorry, 1 second. Where's this? Alright. But then, like, if you want to find, like, okay, these two down here, these are actually good examples. This one right here, it has a good intelligence, which rings and amulets, you want to look for stats on them. Because a lot of times people use rings and amulets to supplement for their stats, and so they can put other gear on, or so they can use their supports and stuff. So if you can find stats on your amulets and rings, if you can find pretty good, decent resist, good health, you know, a little bit of anything. Like for instance, this one, it has a lot of elemental damage on it with weapons. It would be nice if it would have had like a flat roll with it too, but instead it just has the percentage and then the int and the fire resist with everything else. This ring has a lot of fire resist, a decent amount of lightning resist with it too, and then life on hit. So I'm trying to get like 6 chaos for this one, just because the fire resist is a really high roll. The stats is pretty decent, and then the increased elemental weapon damage is kind of an attractive item, like attractive stat for some builds. It probably isn't going to sell fast, but it'll be out there. And same with this one, has that elemental weapons, and it's kind of a harder stat to find on rings, so that's why it's easier to sell it for that price. And like I could go over like all kinds of stats and tell you why these stats are super attractive for this item. But mainly what you're looking for is just life, resist, just like how I've always said, like, if you have no life and you die, you're doing 0 damage. So that pretty much goes with any item. Just life resist, and then, you know, if it's a weapon, you want basically what you're looking for is like physical damage, flat physical. If you're an elemental build, you want elemental rolls on it with attack speed and stuff like that. So it's just a lot to take in. Belts are kind of hard unless they're super good. You're not going to ever really get much for them. Like most of these belts, I'm pricing at only 1 chaos, and like even this one, like this would be like only 1 chaos. This would only be 1 chaos. I'm trying to see if I have one that I would price over 1 chaos. I don't think I have one. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, it's just can be a little. Okay, this is another piece that I'm trying to sell. It had top life roll. It has percentage energy shield. I'm trying to get, I think, 4 cast for this one, because not a lot of times you're gonna find somebody who wants both the life roll and the energy shield. But it has top life and then a really good cold resist roll, and then pretty decent energy shield. So yeah. And I had 2 of these helms that they were pretty much super identical, and I sold the last one last night for 5 chaos. So this one I have at 5 chaos too. The 2 resist rolls are really good. Somebody who's looking for rarity, that rolls pretty good. And then the life is okay, and the strength is nice if you need that stat boost. So yeah, basically I'm just going through a bunch of examples of different items, so it might help you out later just to figure out how to price things. But yeah. Otherwise, thank you for watching this YouTube video, and hopefully this you got something out of this. If you want me to do more videos about pricing, maybe what I could do is, instead of just talking about every item in the game, I could go through and do a short video on each item, like each item type, and just tell you how I'd price that item in particular. I could start doing that with my videos, but we'll see what happens. But I'm gonna probably end this video here, and thank you for watching.